All right, everybody. I hope you had fun with day one. Obviously, there's a little more work intensive, especially with our coordinate planes, but I hope you're having fun with it. So we're going to look at part two. Hopefully, we're moving along here. So part two is where we're going to stock your shop. Okay, so we already have our space, and then this is where you want to start putting orders in for your boards. So here's our surfboard catalog. The one right here is what's known as a fish. So this is like a smaller type of surfboard. Okay. Fish, the surfboard is shorter and wider than most shortboards and is very agile and small to medium-sized surf. It surfs well in slower breaking waves and is easier than the shortboard to paddle and catch waves. So this has a little bit more volume, right? So you may see these, or they almost look like, the size of a skimboard. They're so small, right? And then we have our shortboard, which is like a traditional type of surfboard. It's at around 5 feet. The shortboards allows for quick, radical turns and is for experienced surfers. These boards are easy to transport but require harder paddling to catch a wave because of their small size. So there's not as much volume with these boards, but like I said, these are the ones that you mostly see like the professionals using. All right, and then we have a hybrid board. Sometimes they call these, I think they're called step-ups. So it's kind of like a cross between a shortboard and a fish. So this surfboard blends the fish surfboard and the high performance shortboard. It is easy to paddle, very stable and fast. It's thicker than other boards, that's why it has more volume, so you can paddle on the board waves easier. Especially under the chest, it still has its limits with larger surf. Okay. And then the next one we have is a fun board. So you like this would kind of like our wave storms, like those foam boards or the catch surf, those types of boards. This surfboard falls between the shortboard and longboard and can handle a large range of surfing conditions. This is a practical board, but is not considered as attractive as some of the other boards, but mostly because a lot of these are foam. Okay, and then the last one, which is one of my favorites, is the longboard. So these are definitely larger boards. This traditional surfboard is usually between 8 and 10 feet long. It's ridden from the back section of the board and is best at catching the waves that are a bit further out. The size of this board makes it difficult to maneuver, so you don't really do sharp turns with this, but you may see guys like walk to the nose of the board and things like that. So this is a pretty cool board to have in your stock as well. All right, and then the next thing we want to do is now start picking our boards. So what we can do is have to see how well we can handle this, but we're not going to pull 20 to 30 because we just don't have a class size like that, but 5 to 10 people. So this could be people in the class. We'll see how that works out, including your teachers, to find out the potential customers, to find out which surfboard they would prefer. So we can ask one person to pick 2 boards that they like, so then you have your 5 to 10 board, or your enough boards that you'll need. All right. So we'll show them the surfboard catalog, which everyone obviously has already. All right, to help them choose a board and record their answers in the table. And then we'll create a graph that represents this data. So what we'll do is take a tally. All right, so let's say that we have a fish board. So let's say that Joe picks one fish board, and then we have another person that picks a regular shortboard. All right, so we'll put little tally marks in there. And then we have another person that picks a shortboard. All right, and remember, we're going to pick, we want to have a total of 20. All right, so we're going to maybe have to try, some people may have to pick 3 boards. Right, then we have a long board, this and that. So what we're going to do with the graph is, we could write fish, we could write shortboard, we can abbreviate, hybrid board, our fun board, and then the long board. So what we'll do is here we could go by 5s. All right, so you could say, when you're making a bar graph, you could even do tally marks. So a bar graph would look something like this: 5, 10, 15, and then 20. So let's say that we had a total of people picking 5 fish boards. All right, so it would look something like that. And then we had 20, a total of 20 short boards. So it looked like that. But maybe you didn't have anybody that picked hybrid, okay? And then you had, 15 fun boards. All right, and then you would have, another 5 long boards. All right, then you would shade this in. You may want to use different colors. Obviously, this is something that us and the teachers would help you with. Okay. Now you could also do. Are you stuck with that? A pie graph would be a little more difficult, but you could do the same thing using tally marks. So you could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all right, something like that. And then let's say that the short boards were, there was only 2 for someone else, all right? Something to see the difference to keep it nice and organized is basically what we're going for here. All right, and then on the next page, we actually look at what we're going to pay for it. So the wholesale price is the price that your business pays to purchase these items and sell in your store. However, that's not necessarily what you're going to sell it for. You want to, up the charge. So using the data you collected in the last step and the number of displays on your store layout, determine how many of each type of surfboard you will buy and sell in your shop. So let's say we saw that this is a fish board, all right? So maybe you want 5 of those. You're going to need 5 of those. Then you have a short board. You may need 20 of those, okay? We have another hybrid board. Maybe you only need 1. A fun board, maybe you didn't have any. And then you had maybe 3 of these, okay? So it can be over 20, but we definitely want to have a minimum of 20. And then the accessories, it all depends, all right? So if you have an accessory thing, this is going back to yesterday's with your display on the coordinate plane, and you have a thing for sunglasses, you're going to need sunglasses, all right? Now I know this, I think that says $14.21 to that. I'm assuming that's for 1 pair, all right? You may want to get like 10 pairs, all right? $63.50, that's a little bit more expensive. You may only want to get 5 of those. Wax, relatively cheap. Honestly, you may want to get a lot of those. All right, leashes, you may want to get a bunch of those. All right, and then the sunscreen spray, you may want to get a couple of those as well. All right, just throwing some things out there, and then I'll show you how we'll do the calculations, and you will have a calculator. And the last thing is we have a spreadsheet. You don't have to use a spreadsheet. Honestly, this is just some scratch. You definitely are going to be putting your work here, though. No one's going to have this left blank. So can we use a spreadsheet? Sure. But you can use anything else that you want to kind of make your calculations. All right, because we'll need this at the end. You can make a table. We can use an app, also known as a calculator. Once again, these are things that will help you. But you should be working on this independently at home, because we definitely want to have this done, like I said before, within like 7 school days, so we can present to one another.